Welcome back to This Week in Agribusiness. Well, they've done it again. At Nationwide, they've awarded more of those grain rescue tubes to fire departments across the United States so that if a farmer in that area gets trapped, the responding first responders have the tool that they need to try to get that farmer out of a grain bin. Jason Berkland from Nationwide joins us this weekend to talk about it. Jason, you folks have had this program going for what, almost 8 years now, right?
Yeah, the program started in 2014, and when we started it, we were just looking at the grain publications out there, a lot of entrapments and a lot of unfortunate deaths. And we said, hey, we've got a number of associates that still work on farms, still work with flowing grain. What can we do to help? And that's how the whole initiative got started.
Those tubes, while being very effective and seemingly not terribly complicated, are somewhat expensive, especially for volunteer fire departments in many areas that are operating on pancake breakfasts and very tight budgets. And you folks have enabled these departments, many of them, I think a couple of hundred, to get these tubes over these years.
Yeah, it's been exciting. 265 since the program started, and the first year we awarded one tube and one training. So it wasn't. It's really taken off, and we've got a lot of great partners and a lot of great sponsors. And without them, we couldn't provide this life-saving equipment. The tubes are relatively expensive for a rural fire department, and that's where we need to get them. Is usually in the rural areas is where the entrapments and the unfortunate incidents are happening. So.
You mentioned training. Training is important. Our friends of the fire service train and train and train for good reason. So when they encounter something, it's almost second nature for them to respond to get that person out of trouble. And that's a part of the component here that you help fund.
Yeah, that's a big piece of it. The equipment is nice to have, but unless you know how to use it and how to do it safely, it's not valuable at all. So that's included with the award of the rescue tube is the training. We partner with NECAS, the National Education Center of Agricultural Safety, and they bring out their state-of-the-art trailer, and we'll actually do demonstrations and show the first responders and the firefighters how to operate the equipment, how to put it together correctly, and then how to safely enter bins to get that entrapped victim out. The 265 tubes over the lifespan of the initiative have covered 31 states, and we're super proud of that. The benefit, but the unfortunate part is 5 of those tubes have actually been used to rescue people from being entrapped in grain. It's good that they were able to utilize the equipment and utilize the training. The unfortunate part is we're trying to prevent the entrance and entrapment altogether.
Stay out of the bins, or if you're going in there, make sure you have help to get yourself out of there, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Work with a partner. Try to never work alone or an attendant. Don't both be in the bin. We want somebody watching outside safely in case something does happen. And then on our Think Grain Bin Safety website, we have a number of different documents that talk about safe entry, lockout, tagout, lifelines, how to keep grain in condition so that you don't have to get in the bin with anything running. And so there's a lot of materials out there to prevent the entrance of someone into a grain bin.
Think Grain Bin Safety. That's the website you mentioned, right?
That's correct.
And again, you can find all kinds of resources there. Then next year, early in the year, you'll be announcing the opportunity for these departments, these rural volunteer fire departments, to apply for one of their rescue tubes, right?
Yes, that's correct. This year we actually had 1,800 applications, so it was we were kind of swamped with the number we had to review, but it's great to see the need or the excitement around this. We want to award as many as we can. That all takes funding and sponsors and partners to try and get those awarded out to those individuals that apply for the companies, the fire departments, first responders that apply for this. So it will kick off again next year, but think about grain bin safety and entering all year round. That's really what this initiative is all about. Is we don't want to just have our grain bin safety week 1 week in February. We want everybody to think about it year round. If you're going to enter a bin, you need to do something inside of there. Let's go through the process and make sure we have plans in place so that entrapments don't happen.
Jason, when you meet volunteer firefighters, the men and women who respond to the call in their rural communities, aren't you impressed with their dedication? And some of these folks haven't just been doing this for 10 years or 20 years, but 40 years or even 50 years. Some of these veteran firefighters will say, you know what, this is a young man's game, but I continue to respond to the call. They're really dedicated, aren't they?
They are super dedicated. They understand it's their community and it's their family. I mean, if somebody's in danger or somebody's had an issue and they need to respond, they know that they're going to probably know that person and it's their family. They want to be as prepared and well trained and have the right equipment as possible so that they can save that person's life and make sure there's not a disaster in the community. So on that Think Grain Bin Safety website, we also have videos of some of the responses or some of the one of the response to an entrapment and what that meant to that community and that fire department. And Max, if you want kind of a tearjerker, that's one to pop open sometime when you got a few minutes and watch, because it's really, really well done and really, meant a lot to that community for their award of the tube and then for them to be able to safely use it and rescue someone.
Jason, thank you, and thanks to Nationwide for all that you folks are doing to keep our farmers safe. There's more coming up on This Week in Agribusiness. Stay with us here.